It's wonderful that companies like Regeneron are working to find some kind of treatment. And it's great that we can at some point look ahead to either a vaccine or a treatment that a test that will allow us to figure out who's been exposed and who has immunity. And how quickly it might come about, too. A convenient, it could be just a drop of blood. All of that, that's wonderful. But as long as there's a holdup at the FDA, those tests are not going to see the light of day. Based on your understanding and from where you sit, what accounts for the holdup at the FDA?
Well, in terms of all of our efforts, I have to say the FDA has been a spectacular partner. As you may know, we have two near-term treatments. One approach is something that can actually be a vaccine substitute. You've heard from the head of the NID that vaccines may be a year or two away. We have something that could be maybe available for testing within a couple of months and maybe show efficacy within that time frame. We also have another treatment which got into a clinical trial last week. All of this was done in incredible partnership by the FDA. The commissioner of the FDA, Janet Woodcock, who heads the drug division, they were talking to us at midnight on a weekend, partnering with us hand in hand to make sure that our treatments could be tested in the most safe and effective way. So from our perspective, the FDA is a great partner. They're protecting the public to make sure that anything that moves forward can be done in a safe and effective way.
So, Doctor, I mean, there have been a lot of pleas on social media by doctors and other hospital workers asking people who had COVID-19, who recovered from it, to come back in and submit their blood. This idea that there may be some antibodies in their blood that could be beneficial to the research going on out there. Can you explain in a nutshell what exactly they're asking for and why that might be key to fighting this virus?
Well, when you get a vaccine, the vaccine essentially is like giving you a dead or a weakened form of the virus to make your body make antibodies against the virus. That's an immune response. If you've actually beaten the virus, your body has also made these antibodies, this immune serum that beats the virus. What has been shown for decades now is if you could actually purify the most active antibodies that are generated by a vaccine or by an individual, and purify them and grow them outside of the body in these large-scale bioreactors, they could be given back, and they're much more potent than trying to treat somebody with somebody else's serum. But because people are so desperate, we are going back to old-time approaches that do work. They're just not as effective as giving a purified antibody. So our approach, which is going to be in patients hopefully by June, is giving actually this very potent, purified, recombinant, cloned antibody that's the best antibody that I can generate and give it back to people. In the meantime, people are so desperate that they're using approaches that have been used decades ago. They can work in some cases. They can have a lot of raise a lot of concerns and safety concerns, and they're not as effective as these recombinant approaches. So it's a real stopgap measure. Maybe if you can give what's called convalescent serum from survivors and see if you can use that to help people who are fighting the disease now. But coming up with the actual antibodies, growing them up as drugs outside of the body, purifying and giving them back, that holds a lot more clear, likely hope. That's the exact approach that we use. You may know our technology, our approach was used to come up with the effective treatment for Ebola.
Right. That
was validated by the World Health Organization trial in the Congo. And these tend to be much more effective approaches that can really concentrate and give a much better benefit than the convalescent serum approaches.